Today, it's just you, me, and a quiet walk to clear our thoughts. According to psychology, when you see someone who constantly needs reassurance, especially in love, when they worry too much about messages and feel anxious when replies take too long, it is often a sign of an anxious attachment style. They ask,
Oh,
"Do
sorry.
you still love me? Or did I do something wrong?" They worry when texts are not answered right away. They overthink the smallest tone in a message or a change in someone's mood. And very often they hate that about themselves. They call it being too emotional, too sensitive, too much. But psychology tells us something different. It says that this need for reassurance is not weakness. It is a response born from fear, a fear of being left behind. People with an anxious attachment style are not needy because they crave attention. They are that way because their brain is trying to protect them from an old pain. It is the mind's way of saying, "Please don't let me be abandoned again." Inside their brain, something fascinating happens. The part of the brain called the amygdala, which controls fear and threat detection, is always on high alert. It scans every word, every gesture, every silence, searching for possible danger. And in their world, emotional distance feels like danger. When they sense even the smallest hint of rejection, their body reacts as if something terrible is about to happen. Stress hormones like cortisol flood their system. Their heart beats faster, their chest tightens, and their mind races with questions they cannot stop asking. Meanwhile, the hormones that help calm us down, like oxytocin and serotonin, fade away too quickly. That is why their emotions rise and fall so dramatically. They can feel happiness so deeply one moment and fear just as deeply the next. When they feel loved, it feels like sunshine, safe, warm, alive. But when they sense distance, even a short pause, it feels like the ground has disappeared beneath their feet. To others, their reactions may seem exaggerated, but to them, it feels like survival. To understand where this comes from, we have to look back often, all the way to childhood. Many people with an anxious attachment style grew up in homes where love was inconsistent. Sometimes they were met with warmth, hugs, and gentle voices. Other times, they were met with silence, coldness, or even rejection. This unpredictability taught the child one powerful belief: love is not stable. It can vanish without warning. So as adults, they carry that belief with them. They fall in love, but cannot fully relax. Part of them is always preparing for the moment it ends. They build emotional armor made of vigilance. They read between lines that may not even exist, just to feel prepared. They want love, but they fear it deeply at the same time. This fear shows itself in two clear ways. First, they overthink everything. A late reply can become a storm in their mind. A small change in tone can sound like rejection. They replay conversations in their head, trying to find what went wrong. They analyze words, punctuation, and pauses, looking for hidden meaning. They are not doing this to create drama, they are doing it because uncertainty feels unbearable. Second, they hold on too tightly. The fear of being left makes them cling to relationships. They apologize more than they should. They give too much of themselves, sometimes until they feel empty. They hope that all this love, care, and effort will make the other person stay. And when that person still pulls away, they blame themselves for not being enough. But anxious attachment is not a flaw. It is the brain's attempt to protect a wounded heart. It is what happens when love and fear have lived in the same space for too long. The nervous system learns that love is unpredictable, and so it keeps watch, always scanning for danger, even when there is none. People with this attachment style often love the hardest. They notice details that others overlook. They feel things deeply, love passionately, and care with a kind of intensity that can light up the room. But that same depth of feeling is also what makes them afraid of losing it all. Healing for them is not about learning to care less. It is about learning to feel safe enough to not overreact to fear. It begins with noticing that voice inside that says, something's wrong. And instead of believing it right away, they pause, they breathe. They tell themselves, it's okay. Yeah, I'm safe right now. When they start to soothe that alarm within, something changes. The mind becomes quieter. The heart starts to trust again. They begin to see that love can exist without constant proof, that someone can still care even when they are silent. The journey of healing also means learning to love themselves in the way they always wished others would. To speak to themselves with kindness, to remind themselves that they are not too much, not too emotional, not too sensitive. They are simply human, shaped by experiences that once made them afraid. Many people with anxious attachment attract partners who are emotionally distant because it feels familiar. It feels like home, even though it hurts. They chase closeness, and when they do not get it, their brain interprets it as confirmation that love is always uncertain. Breaking that pattern requires awareness and compassion. Sometimes healing starts with simple things, allowing space in a relationship without panic, learning to sit with silence, learning to communicate needs without fear of being rejected. It takes time, but every moment of self-awareness is a small victory. When people with anxious attachment begin to trust themselves, they stop searching for constant reassurance from others. They begin to understand that safety can exist inside them. They realize that love does not need to be tested to be real. So if you ever find yourself loving someone with this kind of attachment, be gentle with them. They are not asking for perfection. They are asking for safety. They want to know that when they reach out, you will still be there. Sometimes a calm tone, a simple message, or a patient silence can mean the world to them. And if you are the one who feels this way, remember, there is nothing broken about you. The fear you feel is just a memory trying to protect you. You are allowed to feel secure. You are allowed to believe that love can stay. The goal is not to erase the fear, but to live peacefully alongside it. To hold it softly, like an old friend who no longer controls you. Love is not supposed to be a constant test of survival. It is meant to be a space where you can breathe, rest, and be seen. So maybe the healing begins right here, in this quiet walk. Maybe all you need is to remind yourself that love, when it is real, does not disappear when things get quiet. It simply stays calm, steady, waiting for you to trust it again. If this message resonates with you, if it made you think of someone who might need to hear it, share this video with them. Sometimes a few gentle words can reach a heart that has been waiting for peace for a very long time.